Welcome into 49ers Access. My name is Sterling Bennett, and today is going to be all about Sam Darnold. Yes, many's presumed quarterback one with Brock Purdy potentially on the shelf to begin the season. Many others, their quarterback number two, and I think the majority coming into this season, their quarterback number three on the San Francisco 49ers. And it's funny because Sam Darnold, when the San Francisco 49ers signed Sam Darnold, I don't think anybody thought we were going to be having this conversation we are going to have today. And it's not my fault. Don't blame me. This is not my fault whatsoever. I'm going to need you to blame guys like Ian Rappaport, guys like Dan Orlovsky, and unfortunately, guys like Matt Mayoko, all respected in the NFL media realm. Mayoko has been covering the Niners for 20 plus years now. Rap Sheet is the guy next to Adam Schefter amongst the NFL's media juggernauts, you could say. But today we are going to discuss, is Sam Darnold a top 32 quarterback in the NFL? And this topic was thrown at me on Twitter by Brian Carter 99. So thank you, Brian. I responded to your tweet in the show. This is the response to your tweet, is this show, because it was a great idea. I needed to discuss and react to this because Sam Darnold has been discussed to the highest of levels, levels that I don't think if he was playing anywhere else, he would reach. Like, I don't think if Sam Darnold's playing for the Bears or the Buccaneers, we're having conversations of, hey, can he lead the Bears to the NFC Championship? Can he lead the Buccaneers to the NFC Championship? And I want to start right there because the media has been discussing Sam Darnold like he is this, all around amazing player that is kind of this clean slate, come in, can do anything Kyle Shanahan wants, or in the inverse, Kyle Shanahan can make whatever quarterback he tends to play or chooses to play be this amazing quarterback that can get whatever he wants out of them. And it just makes me laugh because the media is running with it like it's nothing. So starting off, we have NFL draft weekend. Well, what is it now? 2 weekends ago, 1 weekend ago. It's been a while. It feels like it's been forever ago. But 1 weekend ago, Ian Rappaport says on NFL Network Live, doing a stand-up, from what I've heard inside the building, that the San Francisco 49ers believe that Sam Darnold could start games this year for them. Back to you, Rich Eisen. And while, yes, Sam Darnold could start games for the Niners this year, if Brock Purdy's not healthy, if Trey Lance sucks in training camp and sucks in preseason, Sam Darnold could start some games for the San Francisco 49ers. Then you have, a week later now, Ian Rappaport says on Pat McAfee's show that he got pushback from people inside the San Francisco 49ers building, inside the organization, saying, why did you say that? Why are you discounting Trey Lance? And I want to start there because I do think the Sam Darnold hype starts from within the building. Cue the X-Files music. We're going full conspiracy theory here because why else would the media, people who are plugged in like Mayoko, like Rap Sheet, guys who are respected, they're not going to put their neck on the line when they haven't heard something they believe is true from somebody they trust. And yes, it could very well be opinion, but I'm going to assume it's an educated opinion that they've heard some things inside the building. And that doesn't mean the Niners can't like Sam Darnold. Again, let's not forget, Sam Darnold is a former number or top 4 overall pick in 2018. He was the assumed number 1 overall pick for a long time during mock draft season, besides or before Baker Mayfield stole the entire show and went number 1 to the Browns. Like, he was supposed to be the guy of that draft. And goes to the Jets, number 4. He was seeing ghosts. Things don't work out there. And to give Sam Darnold credit, he has made a lot of throws in between the turnovers and the interceptions and the fumbles and the ghosts that haunt him every single day. He has made some throws that if that was Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Aaron Rodgers or Jalen Hurts, they would be in Sports Center's top 10 plays. Like, Sam Darnold has some form of elite ability. And I do think that's what's led to this, is that San Francisco sees Sam Darnold as this, in a sense, reclamation project. They believe he has the ability to start games for them this year. If Trey Lance isn't good in training camp and preseason, if Purdy's hurt, like, they do have to pitch the idea to the fan base, to themselves, to a certain degree, that, hey, we believe in Sam Darnold. Please believe us. Because at a certain point this year, they may have to believe in Sam Darnold. And it's not like Darnold hasn't done, some good in his career. Like, there are things to look at and say, wow, like, okay, I can see why you're a former number 4 overall pick. And so within the building, I do think there is this kind of, high selling of Sam Darnold to the media of like, hey, but when the conversation started is tricky because you have a group of people, I think I might be included in this, that believe the Sam Darnold hype happened or began around the NFL draft. And the reason because of that was to make other teams call about Trey Lance. There is some reporting, John Lynch even addressed it when he said, like, yes, like, we have received some calls, anyone's available, like, but we're not shopping Trey. And I think that's true. I think it would be foolish to trade Trey Lance. We've discussed plenty of times already on the podcast in itself. It'd be foolish to trade Trey Lance, knowing the quarterback situation you have, knowing his potential. That being said, that does not mean that the San Francisco 49ers do not play the PR game, because they do. They sold Trey Lance, they've sold Brock Purdy, they sold Jimmy Garoppolo, where all of them have their faults. Doesn't matter how good of a player they might be. This is the same organization that tried to sell us on Dante Pettis and Reuben Foster and Solomon Thomas. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't work out, those being the ones I listed as the very negative side of how things cannot work out. But in this case, it really does seem like they were playing PR. They were playing the NFL draft roulette of, let's spin a wheel and let's see if we can get a team to bite. Now, that doesn't mean they had the intention of trading Trey Lance. That just means they had the intention of, let's see if we can get the best offer on the table here. Now, the draft's over with. They didn't trade Trey Lance, which is a good thing in my opinion. Now let's change our tune. Like, this is the conspiracy theory side of things. Okay, the draft's over. Now we have to kind of question maybe a report they may have put out there. Because why would we trade Trey Lance? Why do you not like Trey Lance? Why is Rappaport saying that Trey Lance might be traded? They love Sam Darnold. Why would you say that? Why are you discrediting Trey Lance now? Come on, he's our guy. That's our quarterback number 1. Brock Purdy. Who's Brock Purdy? Sam Darnold. Who's Sam Darnold? Gross. They now have to resell or kind of reel back in the potential quotes people in the organization put out there. And I do think that this is what is happening now, where Rappaport puts, hey, Trey Lance might get traded. Now it's, hey, Sam Darnold might be the guy. But now, fast forward a week and a half post NFL draft, it has become, why are you discounting Trey Lance? Like, they are completely changing their tune as to, or the media is pushing back, or the Niners, are pushing back on the top end media outlets saying, what are you talking about? We like Trey Lance. We also like Sam Darnold too. But it doesn't stop there, because we discussed how it's kind of this campaign to Sam Darnold to, be hyped up, right? Well, Matt Mayoko, and God bless him, he's a phenomenal journalist. He's a nice guy. I met him once at training camp. Like, he is a good guy. Like, he does his job almost better than anybody does in the media, especially here in the Bay Area. He's great. But to shorten and paraphrase what he said, he went on KNBR and had the goal, knowing that Joe Montana and Steve Young and Jeff Garcia, and even guys, if you didn't like them, like Jimmy Garoppolo and Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith, that Sam Darnold, he said Sam Darnold, of all people, who hasn't played a single snap for the San Francisco 49ers, I believe has practiced twice as a Niner, that he might be the greatest thrower of the football in San Francisco 49er history. Now, Matt, I understand what is going on. I understand what you're trying to do. There is, in a sense, like when you look at Sam Darnold again, whether he was in New York with the Jets or the Panthers, you can point to certain throws that made you go, oh, what was that? Like, okay, we got something here. That's a no-look throw across the middle in between two defenders. Like, what the heck was that? Now, that's sandwiched in between turnovers, interceptions, fumbles, losses, and ghosts. And so to say something like that may be just an opinion of Matt Mayoko's, and to one I'll disagree with. But I, again, just like Rappaport, I don't think that people that are within the know in the Niners building are just saying things to say things. I do think there is this campaign to pump up Sam Darnold and someone who isn't even in the know. Like, I love watching ESPN, not because of the shows they usually have on, because there's usually sports on. The NBA playoffs are on currently, but NFL Live is a show that I will tune into. I go to the gym a lot during when that show is on TV. So usually I'm watching it kind of, in the corner of my eye while I'm getting some curls in and pumping some iron and lifting some big plates, right? At the Planet Fitness in Antioch, California. but but while I'm doing that, Dan Orlovsky is someone who, like him and Marcus Spears, their film breakdowns are just a must watch, no matter which team you root for. Like, they dive into so many great things in their film breakdowns. You learn so much, and even if you already know what they're discussing, it's just a great refresher of two former NFL players diving into film and really showing you like what this NFL is like in 2022, now to 2023. So Orlovsky is talking about Sam Darnold a couple days ago, and he says this. He says Sam Darnold can lead the San Francisco 49ers to the NFC Championship game. And to that, I said, okay, I'm happy you like to use drugs recreationally. That's great. I'm really happy that ESPN's comfortable with that and you're okay with that. But let's be honest here. The goal isn't to go back to the NFC Championship game. It's just not. The goal is to win a Super Bowl. Like, Brock Purdy wasn't named starting quarterback or isn't the assumed starting quarterback because he can get them back to the NFC Championship game. No. Brock Purdy is the assumed starting quarterback when healthy because had he been healthy, they likely would have been in the Super Bowl and won the NFC title. There's a reason why this team, 2 years removed from a Super Bowl appearance against the Kansas City Chiefs, said that's not good enough. We want to win it next time, and moved off the quarterback that got them there. Or to some fans, some fans look back and say, "Oh, he was only part of the team." Jimmy Garoppolo was a big reason they got there. They won a lot with him for a reason. And if this organization was saying getting there isn't good enough, why would Sam Darnold starting and getting him back to the NFC Championship game be good enough, Dan Orlovsky? Now, You're not taking shots. You're not saying, that's the plan, that's the goal. But I'm saying what the goal is, because all the fans know what the goal is. Getting back to where this team was last year, and they were in 2021, and where they got past in 2019 isn't good enough anymore. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they have to win now. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, great talents. Every year that goes by, they get older. Trent Williams, how much longer does he have? They have to strike while the iron is hot. And I'm sorry, if Sam Darnold's peak is NFC Championship game appearance, it's not good enough anymore. It's just not. And so to hear these things of, again, Rappaport saying Sam Darnold could start games, Mayoko saying he might be the greatest thrower of the football in Niners organization history. Now Orlovsky saying he can get them back to the NFC Championship game. Again, shout out Brian Carter. This question was from him. He asked, and it got me thinking. And this is the real discussion, the real topic of today's show is Sam Darnold a top 32 quarterback in the NFL? I have a list. I will read off every single quarterback from this list. I want you to play along with me. I'm asking you this question, Will. I'm also asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast, either on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts if you're listening the audio version. But if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you know when new podcasts come out. You can also follow us on social media at 49ers.access is the Instagram, and the Twitter is 49ers_access. Follow us on those live updates every single day. You can also use our promo code 49ers Access at SeatGeek.com and save yourself $20 off your first purchase. And one more shout out. Use our Fanatics link at the top of the screen or down in the description and get the best Niners gear and support the show in the meantime. Okay, back to the show. The sponsors are done. The shout outs are done. Is Sam Darnold a top 32 starting quarterback in the NFL? Let's go through every single quarterback. I can guarantee Sam Darnold is not better than Patrick Mahomes, not better. Josh Allen, not better. Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, when healthy, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, and Geno Smith. That is 22 of the 32 assumed starting quarterbacks in 2023 and 2024 that Sam Darnold is already not better than. Guys, you can just check off and say, nope, 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 nope. Okay, that leaves 10 players, 10 starting quarterbacks that we have left to question, is Sam Darnold better than? And let's dive into each of them right now. The first one on my list of players I'm not certain about is Ryan Tannehill. Don't forget, Ryan Tannehill is a quarterback that the Titans have been trying to move off of for the past 2 years. They wanted to trade him to the Packers for Aaron Rodgers, and this past year they were shopping him during the NFL draft. But that does not change that when healthy, when right, he led the Titans to the number 1 seed a few years ago. This is a quarterback who isn't a top 10 guy, isn't a top 12 guy, but it's a quarterback many Niner fans, including myself at times, would rank above Jimmy Garoppolo. And I know Tannehill's been hurt. I know sometimes his plays like a roller coaster, but when healthy, Ryan Tannehill to me is a better quarterback. He has longer longevity. His ceiling, in my opinion, is much higher than that of Sam Darnold's. Now, he has not shown that in the playoffs, and I get that. I really do get that. And that's the biggest knock on him is he's another guy who's good, but he's just not good enough. The issue is Sam Darnold has really never been good for a consistent period of time, so I'd give the nod to Ryan Tannehill. Now, the other guy is Justin Fields. And I know many fans may not want to hear this, and I like Justin Fields. I just have a lot of questions of who he is as a quarterback. And many of those stem from the team he's on, being the Bears. That's an awful team trying to rebuild itself from the ground up. And let's not forget, I know in the final, like when it's all said and done, their number in the NFL draft is not going to be number one, but they were the worst team in football last year with Justin Fields playing quarterback. Now, not all his fault. That defense was just putrid. It really was. But Justin Fields has yet to prove himself with his arm. He had one of the most amazing, like astonishingly, just any adjective you want to put in front of it, amazing, great, cool, historical running seasons for a quarterback ever, ever. Nearly broke records. Like, he was phenomenal when it came to using his legs. Niner fans saw it firsthand for 2 years in a row, whether it was in the monsoon game last year or in 2021 when Garoppolo had 2 rushing touchdowns and Fields made that amazing run around play, breaks free, and just broke the San Francisco defense for one play. And everyone said, wow, something special in this kid. There's still something special in Justin Fields. That's why I would say he's younger. He's technically going to be in his 3rd full NFL season, and this should be a huge step up for him, or at least, the 3rd year is always that year where you say, wow, there's the big leap a player's taking. They're no longer a rookie. They've kind of gotten their time to take their hits and hit and get their lumps. Now it's time to explode through your ceiling and become the quarterback that you were drafted to be. This is this year for Justin Fields. Now, his team might hold him back. I would assume they will. They're the Bears. They're not good. They're in a bad situation. He can lift them up. The question is, as a quarterback, as someone who had an amazing rushing year last year, is that good enough to be better than Sam Darnold, who maybe doesn't necessarily have these elite traits like Justin Fields? But if it comes down to it, and I need one throw at this very moment on May 9th, 2023, I do trust Sam Darnold's arm more than Justin Fields. But if you ask me, who would I rather have start a game for the San Francisco 49ers in 2023? My answer is Justin Fields. So that's already 2 players who I may question are better than Sam Darnold. I would say they are better than Sam Darnold. The other is Kenny Pickett, who going into year 2, he's better than Mitchell Trubisky, obviously, beat him out last year for the starting job. And despite being turnover prone at certain times last year, Kenny Pickett's better than Sam Darnold now. I don't think Kenny Pickett has any elite traits. Small hands, not a big arm, makes mistakes, but towards the end of the season, you could see that team starting to form. You can see him starting to get comfortable. I think that's going to carry over into the 2023 season. I would say at this moment, right now, with having no knowledge of what Sam Darnold looks like in the Kyle Shanahan offense, which could explode the entire podcast and the entire list in a whole, I would say Kenny Pickett is better than Trey Lance. Or excuse me, not Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. The other 2 guys are Jordan Love and Trey Lance. Now, I don't know if Sam Darnold is better than Trey Lance, and we will see that firsthand. I think Trey Lance is a far more the potential is just a whole other level above Sam Darnold for Trey Lance. It just really is. In the pocket, out of the pocket, as a runner, Trey Lance has a higher potential in every single aspect of the game than Sam Darnold. I would lend or lean towards Trey Lance being better than Sam Darnold. Obviously, that has to be proven. And Trey Lance, while not being a rookie, might be the hardest player to kind of decipher, is he better than Sam Darnold or is he not? Because we haven't seen much of him. But at this moment, if you told me, hey, Sterling, who do you want to be the San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback come week one? If you had to choose today, Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, I would pick Trey Lance just because he can do a lot more with the football. He's a more dynamic weapon on the field than Sam Darnold. So I picked Trey Lance in this case. Obviously, we'll see. Hopefully, I get to see it firsthand at training camp this year, but I would pick Trey Lance in this case. The other guy, Jordan Love, seems like he has sat on the bench for a decade plus in Green Bay, finally getting his chance. I think last year we did see what Jordan Love could be. Small glimpses, especially in 2021, 2020, 2021, when Rodgers had the whole COVID, vaccine thing that was kind of taking him out of games and getting suspended and stuff. Like Jordan Love looked rough, but did show potential. Again, he's kind of in this Trey Lance bag where I think I've liked what I've seen more from Jordan Love, having sat behind someone like Aaron Rodgers. And I do think that with Jordan Love, just like Trey Lance, the potential is so much higher than Sam Darnold. I know I said it earlier. Sam Darnold, former number 4 overall pick. Don't forget that. That doesn't mean that someone picked in the second round or first round, late in the first round, like Love, doesn't have a higher ability or traits. I think Jordan Love has that. I would put every single player on my might not be or people who I'm uncertain of to be better than Sam Darnold ahead of him. Love, Tannehill, Fields, Pickett, Lance. I would pick all of them right now to start a game over Sam Darnold. Then you get into the rookies. So what is that? That's 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 quarterbacks I already have ranked above Sam Darnold. Then you have 3 rookies, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. Now, I have my order of these guys who I like better, Bryce Young, Richardson, then Stroud, and I would start all of them above Sam Darnold today. Today. Now, that's because potential, it really is, and because of the skills they possess, running and throwing. Darnold doesn't have the complete, skill set at his disposal. Those guys do. So that's 30 players already. 30 players that I sit here and say I would start over Sam Darnold right now. So then it becomes, who is Sam Darnold better than? And really, it comes down to 3 or 4 players. It really does. And we're not going to dive into Andy Dalton and Teddy Bridgewater and Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett. We're not going into backup quarterbacks yet because Sam Darnold is the best quarterback, number 3 on any roster right now. He's better than most teams' quarterback number 2. I'm not going to argue, is he better than backup quarterbacks? But if he's not number 33 on the list, I could argue, and I'm going to argue for this, that Sam Darnold might be the 28th best starting quarterback in the NFL, excluding Andy Dalton, excluding backup quarterbacks like Brissett and Bridgewater and Jameis Winston. I really do think Sam Darnold is a bottom tier starting quarterback in the NFL today, only better than guys like Baker Mayfield, who I like Baker. I'm an Oklahoma Sooner diehard fan. I was hoping he'd beat the guy in Cleveland. I really was, because I love his tenacity. I love the attitude. Sometimes it's too much. He makes good commercials. He really does. He beats the Raiders at the last minute. That's good stuff if you're a Niner fan. But now him being in Tampa Bay, they have plenty of weapons there. But Baker and Kyle Trask, it just seems like a disaster. I don't agree with the Buccaneers' thought process of, Baker's better than a lot of the guys that came out this year. I don't think so. I would take Richardson and Stroud and Bryce Young and even Will Levis to a certain extent over Baker Mayfield. I think they are far better than him. I think Sam Darnold in the same draft class, despite having, less to show for it, just physically is better than Baker Mayfield. Like, Baker Mayfield was given the keys to Cleveland, he failed. Sam Darnold given the keys to the Jets, he failed. Darnold also got the keys to to the Panthers and failed. But within that failure, there was small glimpses of hope. Whereas Baker's won some games, but the way he loses is just like a catastrophe waiting to happen. Whereas, you know, Baker on a really bad team will shine, but on a good team trying to win playoff games and get to the playoffs, he's going to be the reason you lose. And that's a bottom tier quarterback for you. That's why we're talking about this is the San Francisco 49ers quarterback number 3 better than 32 other players? The answer is no, but if he's better than 5 of them, can he do something for you in the playoffs? And that's the real conversation here, right? Is that yes, Sam Darnold to me is better than Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield and Sam Howell in Washington and even Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. But the real question is here, and this is a question for all Niner fans across the board. If Sam Darnold is playing a playoff game or starting meaningful games down the stretch of this upcoming season, is that a hey, we have a chance? Or is that we are waving the white flag right now? Give it to Christian McCaffrey 45 times. I don't care what happens. He can win us the game. Now, that is a privilege that Sam Darnold has that many other quarterbacks don't. They don't have Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle and Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey. They don't have those weapons on the offense. I get that. That does change some things when discussing Sam Darnold, because for all we know, he could become something here. But at this moment, we have people in the media hyping up Sam Darnold, whereas he really is the 28th best starting quarterback in the NFL. He really could be the 3rd best quarterback on the San Francisco 49ers. And we have people in the media, high ranking people who I respect, who you respect, saying he can lead them to the NFC Championship game. He might be the greatest thrower of the football in San Francisco 49ers organization history. How is that a conversation? And this is coming from me, someone who admits that Sam Darnold has made some throws that make you say, wow. Post Malone, wow. Like, I'm not discrediting the physical ability of Sam Darnold, but it just seems like if you're on a roller coaster, you're going up, chugga, 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 and you're at the very top. That's where we're at right now with Sam Darnold hype of like, he's the greatest quarterback in Niners history. They're going to the Super Bowl. Well, last time I checked, the only way from that is down. And I think we'll see reality in a few months come training camp and preseason that yes, Sam Darnold can do some really nice things. He can win you some games, but he's likely not going to win you the big game. He can do some nice things in between some really awful quarterback play. Like, listen to this stat for 1 second. And if you believe Sam Darnold is quarterback 2, all power to you. But I just want you to hear this stat with an open mind. That Sam Darnold, since 2018, so 5 NFL seasons, rookie year to last year, his second season on the Carolina Panthers. In 5 seasons, he has scored over 20 touchdowns 1 time. That was in 2019. 20 touchdowns 1 time. And he has never totaled less than 6 turnovers in a season. That was last year for the Panthers when he played only 6 games. Like, I know this conversation around Sam Darnold is, they can make him something that he hasn't been, that they can make him better than he's ever been. He has all these weapons. He has Kyle Shanahan. Yes, the game of football, processing plays, making plays, hitting open receivers should come easier to Sam Darnold. If he has to play games this year, I would not wave the white flag. But once you overexpose Sam Darnold, it's abundantly clear he is not only injury prone, because he has been, he's also been prone to poor quarterback play and turnovers. If you're Kyle Shanahan, what's the one thing you do not want? A turnover prone quarterback that has been benched everywhere he's gone. I know people might say, what about Steve Young? What about Steve Young? He is arguably the greatest quarterback in Niners history. I know, he struggled early. The Buccaneers really never gave him a chance. Then he sat behind the greatest quarterback in Niners history, Joe Montana, watched him win a handful of Super Bowl rings, and then he had Jerry Rice. Like, Sam Darnold does not have that luxury and hasn't had that luxury anywhere. There is no Joe Montana here. There is no Jerry Rice here right now in the 49ers. Like, Sam Darnold is not Steve Young. Steve Young had traits, had incredible physical talent. You can argue he is the greatest combo quarterback of all time, dual threat quarterback of all time. And I would say you're probably right. Like, he was Mike Vick pre Mike Vick, and there really isn't another Mike Vick besides Lamar Jackson. Like, he was at a certain point the prototypical dual threat quarterback. Like, he was the elite of the elite. And we're putting his name in the same vein of Sam Darnold, who has had plenty of opportunity and has failed everywhere he's gone. Again, this does not mean I dislike Sam Darnold. This isn't a podcast or a show to tell you why Sam Darnold stinks. It's just, let's stop hyping up a player that's done nothing. And even in that case, you can say, what about Trey Lance, Sterling? And I would argue, yeah, the reason why people hype up Trey Lance is because he's still raw, really. He has, and also has like 10 times the potential Sam Darnold has. It's not like he's tainted. Sam Darnold was admittedly seeing ghosts in New York. You could argue Sam Darnold is tainted, and Kyle Shanahan is trying to chip off the 7 coats of paint he has over him to kind of bring out the beautiful, the good quarterback in him. That takes time and may never happen. There may be some times where, wow, that's a great play. Look at Sam Darnold making a nice play. Most times it'll be, oh God, Sam Darnold, like, well, okay. There's a reason why you're quarterback number 3. And that's okay. There was nothing wrong in being quarterback 3 on one of the best teams in the NFL, but I think we should sit back and say we need to stop hyping this guy up where he might be the second coming of Steve Young or the greatest thrower in Niners history. Like, the Niners' potential is a lot higher than what Sam Darnold can take them to. If Sam Darnold is starting games over Brock Purdy, just Brock Purdy alone, their ceiling goes down. And that's as simple as it could be. Like, if Sam Darnold started 17 games this year, that's what? A 9-win team? 8-win team? And those 8 wins or 9 wins are probably just because of Christian McCaffrey and that defense and Deebo Samuel and the rest of the offense and Kyle Shanahan, not because of Sam Darnold. But if Brock Purdy's starting, that's number 1 seed aspirations. And even if Trey Lance is starting, despite the unknown of what he could be, there's still potential to be a number 1 seed there. Now, reality is it doesn't happen. Even last year, they weren't the number 1 seed. They missed by 1 game. And that was with Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy kind of carrying the ship for the betterment of the season. But like, Sam Darnold, like the hype for him has reached just asinine levels of hype. And I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. History doesn't like lean that direction. It doesn't like the confidence level in Sam Darnold that certain people have seems delusional. Really. It really does. Now, again, if he's a quarterback, we are rooting for him. But to think that Sam Darnold can take this team to new heights is incorrect. That he can lead this team back to an NFC championship game isn't good enough. To win a Super Bowl, Sam Darnold cannot be playing quarterback. He can't. You hope he can be that great, but he just can't be the starter. He has yet to prove in 5 years, not one season, not 2 years, not, oh, he's still a rookie. 5 NFL seasons, 2 different teams going on his third. He is yet to prove he can be the guys over someone like Baker Mayfield and Phillip Walker and Joe Flacco. Like, the Jets replaced him with Joe Flacco and then Zach Wilson. Like, Sam Darnold, he is the 28th best quarterback in the NFL, and that's not including other backups. He could be 35 when it's all said and done. Like, this conversation of, is Sam Darnold a top 32 quarterback? The answer is yes, when only discussing starters. And that may change any given Sunday. That being said, you can follow us on Instagram. 49ers Access is the Instagram. Twitter, 49ers_access. Our promo code again, 49ers Access. I know I keep saying it over and over and over again. Our name is 49ers Access. Use that promo code at SeatGeek.com. Save yourself $20 off your first purchase. Also, use our Fanatics link either up here in the top right-hand corner or down in our description to save some money at Fanatics and also support the show. In the meantime, don't forget to leave a like, leave a review, tell your friends, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. And when it's all said and done, and until next time, my name is Sterling Bennett. This has been, once again, the 49er Access Podcast, and stay faithful.